If you lived in Lagos long enough, you have heard about the house of Nola. Everyone knew it. Biggest designer in Lekki. The kind that didn't even have price tag because if you had to ask, you couldn't afford it. Her designs were a statement, luxurious, intricate, beaded to perfection, hand-sewn to her curves like a second skin. They weren't just dresses, they were works of art. And here was the crazy part. She made 30 of them every single day. No tailor in Lagos could keep up. Even the best hands struggled to finish one complicated dress in a week. Yet, somehow, Nola did it effortlessly, without breaking a sweat. People talked. She must have 100 tailors working in the secret now. Maybe she's dating a politician or a billionaire. Someone sponsoring her, Juju. It must be Juju. But nobody could prove anything. Not until Ada saw something she was never meant to see. Nola wasn't always a legend. 10 years ago, she was just another tailor in Yaba, struggling to make ends meet. She had talent, but Lagos doesn't reward talent. Lagos rewards the loudest, the fastest, and the most connected. She tried everything. She worked long hours, perfected her finishing, used the best fabrics, but she remained invincible. Other tailors got big breaks, got featured in magazines, got clients willing to pay in dollars, but Nola, she remained stuck, sewing for people who would argue over 200 naira change. Until one night, she met him. It happened in the most unexpected place, Balogun Market. The day had been frustrating. A client cancelled a big order one last minute. She was left with fabrics she had already paid for. Angry and desperate, she stayed at the market later than usual, hoping to resell some of the material. The sun had set, and the market was nearly empty when she noticed a strange-looking store stuck between two fabric shops. No signboard, no vendor, just a single sewing machine placed in the center, and standing beside it, a man. Not just any man. He was tall, impossibly tall. His skin was dark, too dark, like polished onions. His fingers were long and slender. His eyes glowed red. Nola went to walk away, but something about him pulled her in. "You work too hard," he said, his voice deep and echoing like it came from everywhere at once. Nola's breath caught in her throat. "Excuse me?" The man gestured at her bag of fabrics. "You are talented, but talent is not enough in the world. Let me help you." She should have left. She should have run, but she didn't. Instead, she listened. And that was the night she made the deal. Everything changed overnight. Her small Yaba shop became a 3-story fashion house in Lekki. Her finishing went from impressive to flawless. Every bead, every embroidery, every stitch was perfect, as if done by invisible hands. Others poured in. Celebrities, politicians, wives, influencers, everyone wanted Nola's original. Her Instagram flew from 2,000 to 200k followers in a month. And the best part, she never missed a deadline. No matter how complex the designs were, she delivered 30 perfect dresses every single day. But how? Nobody knew. Her tailor swore they weren't the ones sewing them. Clients tried to sneak in for behind-the-scenes videos, but somehow there were never any photos of actual work being done. People whispered. Some say she used spiritual workers. Others believe she had mystical sewing machine. But the truth was worse than anyone could imagine. And Ada, her assistant, was about to find out. Ada had been with Nola since the Yaba days. She wasn't just an employee, she was family. She handled orders, managed tailors, and was the only one in Nola's personal office. But there was one place she was never allowed to enter, the private workroom on the top floor. Nobody went in. No tellers, no assistants, not even the cleaners. Every evening, Nola would lock herself inside, and by morning, finished dresses would appear. One night, Ada stayed late. A high-profile client had ordered a last-minute design, and Ada had to oversee the details. By minutes, she was the only one left in the building. As she walked past in the staircase, she noticed something strange. The light in the room was on. But Nola had already gone home. Her heart pounded as she climbed the stairs. The closer she got, the more she heard it, a voice. A deep, low voice speaking a language Ada had never heard before. Slowly, she pushed the door open and froze. Nola wasn't alone. A man stood in the center of the room, and he wasn't human. He was a tall, towering over everything. His skin was smooth and black, like it was carved from the pure darkness. His eyes burned red, and his fingers were longer than normal, moving swiftly over piles of fabric. And in front of him, a half-dressed finish. Ada's breath caught in her throat as she watched the fabric stitch itself together. The beasts attached themselves. The embroidery formed on its own, as if guided by invisible hands. Ada's knees buckled. She clamped a hand over her mouth, willing herself not to scream. Then he spoke. "You are late," he said, his voice trembling like thunder. "I am sorry," Nora whispered. "I had to meet with a client." The man sighed. "You know the rules." Nola swallowed hard. "I know." The man stepped closer for a moment. Ada thought she was looking straight at her. Then he inhaled deeply. Something is watching. Ada's blood ran cold. She ran. But before she could move, Nola's head snapped towards her. Their eyes met. And in that moment, Ada knew she had made a mistake. Ada didn't know how long she stood there frozen. It felt like she had stopped. Nola's wide, frantic eyes looked onto hers. The tall, dark-skinned figure was glowing red, eyes turning slowly towards her. His elongated fingers twitched as if he was deciding what to do. Then he took a step forward. Ada's breath caught in her throat. "Run." The words screamed in her mind, but her body wouldn't move. The room suddenly felt smaller, like the walls were closing. The man, or whatever he was, twisted his head slightly, studying her. "Who is she?" His deep rumbling voice filled the room. Ada felt a chill crawl down her spine. Nola didn't answer. The air between them was thick with tension. Ada had never seen Nola look this terrified before. The man's glowing red eyes shifted back to Ada, and then a small smile spread across his face. "You shouldn't be here," he said. That was all Ada needed to hear. Her legs finally obeyed. She turned and ran. Ada bolted down the stairs. Her heart pounded violently as she sprinted towards the exit. She didn't dare look back. The whole building felt wrong now, like the walls were closing in, like something was chasing her. She reached the glass door, grabbed the handle, and locked her fingers. As she struggled with the latch, behind her she heard footsteps, slow, deliberate, closer. Then Ada. "Stop!" Nola's voice. Ada turned just in time to see Nola barreling down the stairs after her. She didn't look like the confident boss Ada knew. She looked desperate. "Open the door, Nola, open!" Ada screamed. Nola reached her first, grabbing her arm. "Listen to me," she hissed. "You need to calm down." "Calm down?" Ada's voice broke. "Nola, what the hell was that?" Nola's grip tightened. "Ada, you don't understand. I can explain. You have a damn demon in your workplace." Ada pulled free. "I saw him." She pounded on the door. It didn't budge. Nola swallowed hard, then glanced over her shadows. Ada followed her gaze. The man was standing at the top of the stairs watching them, waiting. Ada's blood ran cold. "Let me out, Nola," she whispered. For a second, Nola hesitated. Then with a trembling hand, She unlocked the door. Ada burst through it, running into the night, leaving everything behind, including Nora. Ada didn't sleep that night or the next. She stayed in her apartment, phone off, curtains drawn, jumping at every sound. She expected Nola to call, but she didn't. Not that night, not the next day, not ever. Instead, the news came another day. On the third day, social media exploded. Breaking news: House of Nola burns down overnight. Ada's heart stopped. She grabbed her phone, scrolling through photos of the destruction. The once luxurious building was nothing but ashes. Firefighters started in a private workroom. No survivors were found inside. Nola was missing. No one had seen her, no one knew where she went. She had vanished. A week later, Ada found a small envelope slipped under her door. No name, no return address. Hands shaking, she opened it. Inside was a single piece of paper, written in Nola's handwriting, with 4 simple words. He never left school. Ada felt sick. She burned the letter that night, but the warning stayed in her mind. And no matter how far she ran, no matter how much she tried to forget, she always felt like she was being watched. Because the truth was, House of Nola never really burned down. Not completely. Somewhere, somehow, he was still there, and he was waiting for the next designer desperate enough to make a deal. Hi besties, we have come to the end of this amazing and interesting story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click on the notification bell so you will never miss whenever I post a new story. Till I come your way next time. Bye.